Thank you so much, Martin. That was some really great content, which I found very interesting. And I can see you are so passionate about what you have to offer and really believe in the technology that you spoke until you lost your voice, you know. But thank you.
Yes, true story.
So I'm just going to do a recap of some of the things that I kind of picked up from your presentation. I think it is important just to let you session and some of that pick up from this session. So, I love the fact that Nutanix focuses on simplicity as being key. As we know, a lot of technology is so complex, you can't figure out better. And technologies because we're not sure that we're going to be okay. I mean, I can even see Teferi is asking, how about support, because if it's very complex, support becomes very important, and are you understanding what you're investing in as an organization? I like the fact that you're not vendor agnostic, that you work with anybody. This is very good, and I think it is important. I will ask that you excuse my dog that is very excited about the Nutanix session. Yeah, but it is important to know that. And then, things like security, which are so important, business continuity, we are not investing in technology for fun, we're not technology, it's not for fun. It is so that our businesses can continue running productively and profitably. Freedom of choice. Some of the technology providers tie our hands and we can't look left, right, center. We become their prisoners and tied down to them for a couple of years, So this freedom of choice is very important, and the flexibility and extension as and when needed, very important because, and like right now where we are going through a pandemic, you'll find some organizations are cutting back on resources, So they need to be able to, to cut the numbers back, or if they're investing in more resources, which some will do when the pandemic is over, you can always add, so you have, it's that elasticity that matters. Very, very important. 97% customer satisfaction. This is an amazing statistic. So well done to Nutanix, and I believe it gives confidence to a lot of people in the audience. And so now I want to move on to the Q&A. And the first question is from Andrew Senior. I do have some questions that I'm going to ask, but I'll let the audience go first. So Andrew is asking, how is Nutanix simplifying the management burden associated with running workloads on multiple clouds? Welcome, Roy. You can unmute yourself. So if you go into the Q&A window, you'll see the first question from Andrew. How is Nutanix simplifying the management burden associated with running workloads on multiple clouds?
Yeah, hi, thank you. That is a great question, right? So I think if we look at it, a lot of the things that we talk about is about, how do we transition and take applications from one perspective, on-prem to, different types of clouds. And if we look at it traditionally, there are multiple tools, multiple vendors out there that to get those workloads running, you got to run multiple tools to get it up and working, right? From a Nutanix perspective, what we've done is to simplify the process with inside of our Prism, with regards to the inside of Prism management, we have the ability there to manage workloads on multiple vendors, right? So we've baked it all into a simplified platform that allows you now to interact and work with the AWSs, with the Azures of the world, right? Public clouds, and give you the ability to bring those workloads on-prem, making it simple, right, from a single portal. So that is how we've done it. We've baked it into our product portfolio, which would be in Prism, with a couple of workloads and tools inside of there. For example, CALM, application automation, creating the blueprints, which Martin spoke about, and then bringing in and giving you the ability to connect to the different cloud providers and shift those workloads seamlessly. That's how we've simplified that from our perspective.
Okay, thanks for that, Rui. There's another question which has sort of been answered by Philip from Teferi. Maybe you just, if somebody just wants to add a little bit more to what Philip has answered, Teferi, about support, how is it organized in case if we can consider Nutanix with IBM Power for HCI?
So it has been answered correctly. And I mean, so with regards to how we address it, right, if it's an OEM appliance, as IBM, what Philip mentioned, in this case, level 1 or 2 support goes straight through to IBM. And then anything that's level 3 will come through to us, right? But the first point of call will be the OEM vendor. And this also will not just be for example, IBM. This could be, for example, HP, Dell, right? Anything that's appliance-based would go, first point of call would go through to them. And then on the third point, go through to us, right? So we're giving, the customer the variety and the choices to still work with their OEM partners, right? Alternatively, they can also have the option where if they would like, they could log the support directly with us, right? There are different models that we have available that gives the customer the choice to deal directly with us from a support perspective.
All right. Then there's a question from Duncan. Why is backup and recovery services for Nutanix like HYCU important? And I understand Nutanix has its pre-built backup and recovery features.
Yeah, that is a great question, right? And we often get this. So, when we look at it, Nutanix, we've got the capability, right, to give you backup and recovery features from within part of the platform. However, when you want to start looking at, further proper backup solutions, or in this case, Haiku, when you want to get to that file level backup or restore, when you want to have the capability of taking that and putting it onto a third-party device or backing it up to a tape and so on and so forth, that's when we start leveraging off of the backup vendors' appliances, right? So although we've got these features baked in, it comes down to what are you as a business accepting that you want to have when it comes to retaining your data, how quickly do you want to retain your data or recoup the data, for example, right? And then what we do, we further enhance the capability that you have on backing up the strategy, right, or having your backup strategy. So although we've got the features built into that, what we do is giving you the options to have further protection with inside of your domain.
Okay, Martin, I think you wanted to say something and I missed you there. You had unmuted your mic.
No. Yeah, I was actually, it's okay. Rui has actually answered the question. So I was just going to add something very similar. So it's fine.
Okay, fine. No problem. So, there's the famous question of how, what is your record like across East Africa? So, everyone is talking about cloud, Nutanix provides different options for customers. How are you seeing the adoption of cloud across East Africa? Maybe Martin, you can give us
so I'll put it in two ways.
Okay.
So first of all, it depends on the country. So there are some countries that have no access to public cloud. First of all, so that sort of that sort of negates that question because it's just not involved. The second thing is, when I check to customers, when I talk about the cloud, the first thing they talk about is Microsoft 365, and that is what they are talking about as having in the cloud. So that is the first application that has generally been moved across. And if I look at the vast majority of organizations that I've dealt with in East Africa, they haven't done a cloud first strategy, or they're not moving cloud first. I think I've dealt with one organization that is looking to move everything to the cloud. Besides that, people are still sort of dipping their toes in and trying to figure out what are the costs, which applications are better suited where, and what is the timescale for me to be able to do this. Also, regulatory requirements, as I mentioned, is something that is pretty big. You'll find that financial institutions will generally not push towards the cloud. So there is an adoption, but if you want my honest opinion, I would say 12 to 18 months before we see a real shift. Okay,
Rui, you want to say something?
Yeah, no, I mean, so just on one of the points, going back just a bit off of what Martin was talking about in regards to the backup, and just one thing I wanted to also just add in before I missed out on, so the Haiku will be one of the backup vendors that we have, but we also, partner with a lot of other vendors out there. for the likes of Veeam as well, so it would be the Haiku, the Veeams, Commvault. So I also just wanted to inform, the people out there as well of the options that are available to assist in that regard.
Okay, so there's one more question from Andrew Senior.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can see a few more questions that have come in. So how simple is it to migrate to and then scale up on the Nutanix platform?
It is simple.
Yeah.
And if I look around at what Martin and I have been doing and the customers we've been dealing with, a lot of people have built their careers on virtualization on other platforms, and that is one of their major concerns, right? Because they think that to move workloads onto our platform and to start using it is very difficult. But in actual fact, it is very simple, right? If any one of you, or if your teams, the guys, are familiar with virtualization concept, to move to our platform is very easy, right? So first, workload migration is pretty simple. We have a tool that's readily available, it's free, but it gives you the ability to move workloads, and we refer to it as Nutanix Move, where you can take workloads from your current environment running on whichever hypervisor, for example, a VMware or Hyper-V, and you could shift those workloads on-prem onto a Nutanix platform a lot easier without any disruption, right? We've got a lot of customers that have used that tool to migrate onto the platform easily. And with regards to working on a platform, it is very simple and easy, right? As I said, if you understand the constructs of virtualization, how to work with inside of the platform, when you work on our platform with inside of Prism or Prism Elements, it is very simple, right? HTML5 driven, pretty simple to navigate, consistent, and it's super easy to do it. So that shouldn't be a concern whatsoever to you guys to move or worry about investments that you've made in other platforms.
Yeah, and I can tell you, this skills issue is a hot issue, because if you just look at it from an investment perspective, if you're going to onboard new technology, you need to think about skills, and maybe it was not part of your budget, and how much time is it going to take, and you've already made the investment, the technology has been deployed, and uptake is a problem, So very important question there. Thank you very much, Andrew. And then we have another question from Puvin. Puvin says they may have missed this. What is your current customer SLA percentage average? Not sure if you displayed the different service level average percentages.
Sure. Martin, would you want to take this, or?
So I don't have them off. I don't have them with me at the moment, but I'm more than happy to send what we have when it's available, for sure. So
yeah, I didn't have
it in my slides, put it that way. I would have to go and I would have to go and have a look.
If we could just talk about something, maybe something we haven't spoken about, it's what we refer to as the NPS score. So that's our Net Promoter Scores. And in some way or another, that would be attached to an SLA in my world, which is how I view it. And if we look at it, we are sitting now, if we look at our Net Promoter Score in our company, it's set at 90 plus for the last 4 years, right? If we look at it at the industry, the standard, for IT, we have got one of the highest, if not the highest NPS score in our industry. If we look at the likes of the big players that we got, the competitive players, the Microsofts of the world, the Hyper-Vs, the VMwares, the Ciscos, those guys are all averaging on a score, NPS score, anything from about a 35 to 50%. So from an SLA perspective, one thing we touch on is from a support perspective, we know we do very well, right, inside of there. From an uptime availability on our systems, I would definitely say it's on the 98s and above, but I could be quoted on that, and Martin could come to that. And it's just purely from how the systems are designed architecturally, the platform that we have. It gives you that ability to get to that. And I think if you had seen on presentation that Martin had made on one of the slides there, I think one of the metrics is where there's like 90% fewer unplanned outages, right? That's a survey that was done amongst all of our customers and a variety of customers. So that will speak to how stable the system is, the uptime with regards to it, and then on the back end, the support that you'd receive from our perspective, how would ensure that you as your business would maximize your own personal SLAs inside of your organizations.
Great. And then one last question from Duncan, because we're running out of time. Could you talk a bit about the Nutanix and Google Cloud partnership? Is there any use case in Africa?
I can answer about the use case. The answer is, from my perspective, from an East African perspective, I haven't even had a request for it. I'm not able to talk for the rest of Africa, but from East African perspective, not even a query yet.
Roy, the rest of Africa?
Yeah, the rest of Africa. I mean, so when we look at the rest of Africa, it's weird, right? The cloud adoption perspective from like a Google Cloud platform is still very young, right? So what we have seen is that the guys, the uptake for it, it's still very young on that. The people aren't always, or they're very scared to do it. And the reason being for it is more from a connectivity perspective, that the guys are a bit reluctant to embrace that, that type of partnership with Google, for example. However, as if you look at it, Africa as entirety, if you look at the southern part of Africa, the guys are also coming up. It's still in its infantile stages, very new, and the guys are working for it. And I think the sooner the internet connectivity gets a lot better throughout all of Africa, when the businesses accept to embrace the cloud technology from that perspective, and not to work within the constraints and what the security is with regards to it, and embrace that part of their strategy, there will be a lot more uptake. But now we're waiting for the businesses as well to get to that point where they're comfortable to put that as part of their roadmap in consuming the GCP services inside of their own businesses.
Great. So thank you very much. I believe that's it from a Q&A perspective. Just one last question from me. If anybody wants to have a follow-up conversation with you, what are the next steps? Besides the fact that we're going to give them a feedback form, what are the next steps from here?
So the easiest way to answer that is that generally we like to be involved with all of our customers, because we want to make sure that we are sizing something that is based on the requirements, that we understand what it is that they need to do. What it is that they're trying to achieve, what applications, what are they trying to simplify. So first things first, do me a favor, please, you saw my details on the very first slide, drop me a message, please call me, and from there we can actually set up a session, which we'll probably do with Rui from a technical perspective, to figure out what it is that needs to be done and how we need to do things. But it is more the personal touch at the moment, just to make sure that you are comfortable with simplifying your infrastructure.
Yeah, and Martin, I think to that point, sorry, C6, either reach out to Martin or reach out to myself on our email addresses, which will be sent out. So reach out to us on email or on our mobiles, and then we can engage with you guys and take it forward.
All right. Thank you so much, Martin and Rui. We are very excited with the content you've delivered today. I can see some really good feedback in the chat window. That means the audience is very happy. Thank you to Nutanix for hosting today's session. Thank you so much to our audience for spending time with us this afternoon. We know that you find these sessions very valuable, so we are glad that the content that has been delivered today has been of value to you. As usual, we will send a recorded version of this session. You can go back, listen to it again, and then reach out to Martin and Rui. We will send you feedback forms. Please indicate in the feedback form if you'd like to have a further discussion with them, and we will connect you to them. And we do look forward to seeing you at the next session. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Keep safe and take care of yourselves. Goodbye.